All right, here we go. All right, World Wide Web, another amazing edition of Sports and Tacos. Uh, let's see, we got kind of a skeleton crew tonight. Greg Vaughn supposed to be hopping on. Our guest tonight, Flash Bugatti. He's been on a few different times. There we go. There's your Chargers background.
How do I
Uh,
flip it now?
he that looks good. He's supposed to be hopping on. Um, no Bama tonight. He is not feeling good. Tony called and was having a plumbing problem. Kind of sounded like I don't know. His toilet may have been overflowing, which I understand for not coming on the show. G Unit is busy tonight, basically, just like with football. We're in the preseason. We kind of got some preseason sports and tacos going right at the moment, which is, honestly, it's cool. Like, because when you do a sports podcast, especially football season is huge for the next 6 to 7 months.
Can't
All
wait.
we're all we're going to be talking about is football. So I've kind of, if there's going to be some shows where we got some no shows and we got some lesser shows, but I don't think it's going to be a lesser show, Bentley, because we're, even if it's just me and you here, uh, you know, I we know a ton about football. It's just pure football talk. So, anyways, we got our buddy Bentley Fierro on. What's new and exciting, Bentley? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, keep your eyes open. I did a Thursday night commercial, Al Michaels, Amazon. So it'll be coming out pretty soon. Nice guy, met him, and then I'm right next to him. I'm playing the chef, so he's right next to me. Got a movie coming out end of this month, Snooze Air. It's a comedy, my first comedy, Snooze Air. So that's going to be fun. Premiering end of this month at the Hollywood Chinese Theater. And got a few auditions. Let's see what happens. I got a commercial. Let's see. They said they want me there. Something with, I forgot. I do so many auditions, I forget what the hell I'm doing. But when my agent calls me, I'm like, okay, you got it. And I got a role. Let's see what happens.
Sweet,
Italian
dude.
chef.
Well,
Got to work on my Italian accent.
So you got a role as an Italian chef? Is that what you were just saying?
I got a second callback, and it's
Cool.
a SAG film supporting role, so it'd be great for my credentials. So let's see what happens. And then made some friends and got a few messages with some pretty famous Italian American actors. They're A-list. I sent them my info, so let's see what happens. I'm trying to, let's see, right? Get out there, talk, make friends, and so we're excited. Let's see, one day at a time. But I'm excited for football. My God, what this season we're gonna see so much stuff, so many changes, and that AFC West. Oh boy, I'm really hyped for the Chargers. I'm so hyped when they got Jim Harbaugh. I'm like, this is a whole new team now.
Yeah. Oh man, there's no doubt about that.
They're a whole new team, and I really think. Can you imagine these exciting games? We may have an AFC West where there might be just like a tiebreaker, where like if Denver wins, KC. Or Chargers. I'll throw the Raiders. The Raiders are done. I don't know why they kept Antonio Pierce there. Imagine the Raiders could have got Jim Harbaugh and they passed up on it to get marijuana smoking Antonio Pierce. I mean, come on, man. And the guy sucks. He's not a good coach.
I mean, like, I don't. I don't know where to go with this, but like, yes, in any other time, I guess in the AFC West, I would agree with you. But other than Patrick Mahomes getting injured, which I wouldn't want to root for something like that. But I mean, I guess the Chargers or the Broncos, and I guess in this era, teams can get in the playoffs, but it's how can you really say it's not the Chiefs' division to lose? I mean,
It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs, absolutely. I
You
just think the
know.
Chargers are going to add some spice. Something's
Oh,
going to
for
happen.
sure. I think especially, and again, we were talking last week. I'm not getting too excited about Bo Nix, but man, the guy, at least in the first two preseason games, looks like the real deal. He looks like an NFL quarterback, and that could put the Broncos in, if anything, maybe possibly like a wild card position.
I
You
mean,
know?
Sean Payton, without Russell Wilson, Sean Payton can get any garbage quarterback and make the team decent because
Yeah,
he's an offense guy. Russell Wilson though was beyond horrible. Like Russell Wilson was no hope.
yeah,
So even the times when he played pretty decent, you could see he didn't want to play. And Sean
yeah,
Payton, I'm glad he put him in his place and said, "This guy sucks. Get rid of him." I'm so
yeah,
glad. I like Sean Payton. The one thing is he's got a pair, and he's going to tell these guys, "You suck. Get out of here." He came
yeah,
from Bill Parcells and Belichick, so he's
yeah.
pretty fearless, and I like that.
Yeah. I think if anything, I can't remember the. I mean, they say it was the contract, which is a pretty easy out for like the team, but I promise you, it was attitude. You know, with just Russell Wilson's attitude, and we've talked about this on the show before. Who knows when it changed?
It's his
Him,
attitude. It's going to be his play, the way he plays and attitude. It's a combination. Then Russell Wilson's wife. What the hell's she getting involved for all the time? Seems to be
that's
having.
what I mean. The guy. It's something we've talked about it, but what's her name? I forget her name, but I know she's a star.
Sierra. Is it Sierra? I think.
Sierra. Yeah,
Okay. Wow, I
Sierra.
remember.
I kind of wonder if you were to go back and kind of like look at his career and just kind of see where it started to fall off. If it wasn't around when he
Was
married
when
her,
he married
maybe.
her.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, there's got to be some kind of correlation if you had a graph chart of his stats from like wedding day, and I don't know. But that that stuff just it doesn't fly with a guy like Sean Payton. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
And so they
yeah, and
so they
that's
so they had to run him out. And I am after the first couple weeks, and I was saying it all off season. Like before we drafted Bo Nix, I went because I was watching a bunch of highlights. It was college highlights, and they were comparing him here and there to Brett Favre when Brett Favre was in college, where he's not ever going to be your prototypical like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. That guy, he creates outside of the pocket. You know, he's a pocket passer, but man, if you go back and you watch the Bo Nix highlights from the last couple of weeks, that dude is dangerous when he steps up, when he steps right, or when he steps left. Especially like the thing that I'm super impressed with, and you don't see a lot of quarterbacks over time that are good at this. Your Patrick Mahomes, your John Elways, and that guy. It's uncanny how he can be running left and just throw strikes to the right.
yeah.
Not many guys can do that, and he's doing it at least on a very small scale so far in the preseason. But and I don't want to get too excited because I remember back in 2006 there was this guy Jay Cutler who came
No,
in and
yeah,
just lit it up during the freaking preseason. And don't get me
yeah,
wrong, he went on to have a decent career, but it was not nearly the career that I thought that it was
yeah.
going
That's when
to
they got rid
be.
of Jake the Snake, and they're like, we got Jay
What's
Cutler
up,
now.
baby?
There's the
Hey.
man. Hey, TMP, how's your plumbing?
I got it done. I fixed it. That's the only thing being a homeowner, you got to do shit yourself.
That's
If
true.
not, it gets expensive. Trust me, I know.
Tell tell Bammy, do we say hello?
You
Hey.
know it, man. You know it. He needs to rest and all that. We'll be seeing
Yeah,
him soon.
cool. So yeah, we got Bentley on. I think Greg Vaughn is hopping on.
And in the shower.
I think Flash Bugatti. he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be hopping on. So, anyways,
All
so
right,
he
gentlemen. Hey, before you go anywhere, Spencer Shotgun. Hey,
yes.
I gotta talk to the man in the shower. I see a different kind of shower behind you. What is that? That is ugly. Granted,
AFC,
they're coach.
AFC contenders this year. They're gonna man.
And with the Broncos,
It's a different team now.
That's a good. That's a good.
here's
I
the
got a
Broncos
question,
team. I
Tony.
was listening to you guys earlier, gentlemen. Hey, Spencer, you were right about one thing. He did, if you added both games up, what was it? Yesterday, he went 8 for 9.
Mhm.
Last week, he went, what was it, 9 for 11 or so? It was something silly. And he scored 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Hey, granted, he did step over that line, the other night. You know what? Hey, I know it's only preseason, ladies and gentlemen, but guess what? We got a quarterback.
I think we do. I think and let's start here. What are your guys' thoughts? Like when you look back, we see. Okay, so you had C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud didn't start from week 1, did he? I think he
Now,
started.
3.
He's like week 3 or something like that. But just what are your thoughts on quarterbacks that start from the very beginning? There hasn't been that many that have been
Much.
successful. You know what I'm saying? Like Peyton Manning.
Much.
If you remember Peyton Manning's first year, he was struggles. Just because you see a lot of times, and there's two different like schools of thought here. One is
Yeah,
throw
but
him
then
to the
you're going
wolves,
back
sink
that
or
same time
swim.
era. You got
But like
1983. You got
think
Dan
about
Marino.
yeah,
Just
Dan
came out of
Marino.
Pitt.
So you got like Dan Marino, Peyton Manning really struggled his rookie season, but went on to have obviously a Hall of Fame career. Um, a guy like Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, they all sat for a few years before they got to bring in. What do you think is better? Do you think that even would it still be better to sit him for a little while, like until week 6, or do you just throw him to the wolves week 1 and hope? Because
Yeah,
then
okay.
here's what they've said, and that is if you struggle in the very beginning, right? Sometimes quarterbacks that may have gone on to have good careers, like if when you just get lambasted those first 8 weeks and thrown to the wolves,
Yeah.
sometimes mentally it will jack you up the rest of your career. What are your thoughts? Go.
Go Portman and the Sheriff, because I got a little bit to say.
All depends on who is the coach. Do they come from an offensive culture? And yeah, they should be sitting. But in this case, we're talking about Sean Payton, right?
Yeah.
He is an offensive mastermind. Just so you know, he wanted Tony Romo, and they didn't want to give Tony Romo when he went to the Saints, so he was able to get Drew Brees. And everyone said, "Who's Drew Brees? Played one good year, and he's too small." Look what he did. I do trust Sean Payton. He's got a fresh quarterback, new culture. So in this case, whatever Sean goes with, as in throw him to the wolves right now, he knows what he's doing. So I agree with whatever Sean is doing because he is a great offensive-minded coach.
Man in the shower, you got a great point. You got a great point. And you know what's the funny part about that? I agree with both what you guys are saying, but you also got to look at this too. This gentleman hasn't been a 2-year starter, a 3-year starter. He's been what, a 5-year? He's old. He's as old as some of the quarterbacks that are second years, third years. I'm sorry. I love the idea that he's in and what he's been doing for the team. And you know what? He doesn't look like a rookie. He does not look like a rookie.
No, he
For
doesn't. He doesn't look like a rookie.
for what he shows, the only thing he has to do is got to remember to watch the line to throw the ball. Because he likes to move. He likes to move, and I love it. He's a motion quarterback. And you know what? Those are rare. And on top of it, hey, let's roll the dice a little more. That boy can run. He could have ran for that first down, but decided to throw the touchdown, and he hit our number caught up our running back. I'm sorry, but Jalen caught the ball. You know, it was great. I knew it was over the lines, but at the same time, it was still a good show. I like what we have, and you know what, Peyton, Coach loves what we have because of the fact that it's his team now. He doesn't have anybody that he doesn't want on that team that he had last year. He already got rid of them, or they're in the hunt. They're fighting for it. You know, you got to have a 53 roster real soon. And he already made his quarterback prediction. But, guys, hey, I got to throw out there. What do you think is going to be second string? You think it's going to be good old Stillham, or is going to be good old
what's the guy's name from the Jets? Yeah, it'll be Stidham. It's got to be Stidham. You know,
Stidham did a good job. Unfortunately, with the last two games that he had, he was the only one of the quarterbacks that threw an interception. And you know, the funny part was it wasn't his fault. Tips. It was always tips or a bad reflection, and it went the wrong way. But you know what? Hey, it's still a good chance. And, you know, Zach Wilson's doing a great job. Sam's doing a great job. You know, somebody's going to be fighting for second. You know, like Coach said the other day, he would love to keep all three. But you know what? Then you leave a man behind on the other side where we need offense and defense. And our defense is looking pretty well, too, fellas. You should admit, you know, for the last two games, we held up pretty good. And our defensive line is finally showing up, you know, and everybody's fighting for a job. But God's sake, you know, cornerback spot, you got 5 positions for one spot because you know they're not going to get rid of Sertan. Sertan's the man. And middle spot, Benito, wow, he looked great. And you also got to look at a defensive end like Ellen, like he did a 17-yard sack in the backfield. But unfortunately, that punt, we hit the punter. You know what happens on that, 1st and 10.
you know, I was just thinking about something like what you were talking there, Tony. Okay, so if you're going to throw Bo Nix to the Wolves, then looking at, you know, kind of what happened to J.J. McCarthy, do you, because right now I would say no, just keep 2 quarterbacks. But with having a brand new puppy as your starting quarterback, maybe you keep, because it's a pretty long season. A lot of things could happen. He could, you know, because like I was saying, Jay Cutler in his first preseason games looked amazing. Maybe they keep that third quarterback because Bo Nix
what you're talking about.
Maybe he gets hurt.
Got the poster on my wall too. I agree with what you're saying, but the catch is, brother, you got to understand this. Where this quarterback, Bo Nix, I'm sorry, folks. He came from Auburn. He kept on going. He was jumping to college, and by the ending of the time, Oregon, he looked good. And you know what?
Amazing.
Out of all his seasons, he has 73 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 10 running touchdowns in. So he's a mobile quarterback plus running in. I enjoy what we have. I really do. And but you know what?
Would you keep that third quarterback on the roster just in case?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Because
what do you think, Bentley?
Both quarterbacks right now, if you want the honest truth, the secondary are trade bait for another team that actually needs a quarterback. And there's not too many out there. Everybody has pretty choice quarterbacks, but
would you keep that third quarterback, Bentley, if you were the Broncos, just in case?
I think so as of right now, because I have it. You know, now the season is longer, and I think it's pretty normal. You got to have 3 quarterbacks now. So, and I think right now in Peyton's case, with all this young blood, besides the Stidham, you know, I believe he should keep the third. And I do believe, I'll say it now, in the middle of the season or so, he'll probably get rid of one of the quarterbacks and just go to 2.
Hey, man in the shower, all I got to say is this is Why do that where you can use trade bait where you can get something else where, we already, we're pretty good. And I think Coach Payton knows what's going on with the Denver Broncos. But at the same time, you know what? Something never hurts where we need an outside linebacker. We need an inside linebacker. Dude, we're solid in the cornerback position. You've got Watson. You got players that are trying to fight for that job, and all of them are doing a great job. Look at the scores. Granted, everybody's going to say this. America, I say this, but at the same time, it's this. I know we played against the secondary offense, secondary defense, third string, fourth string. Hey, he's trying to fight for a job, but the way we looked yesterday for the positions that we had and for the team that we got, we looked damn good for the last. If you added both those scores up from last week and this week, and you put it to a regular season, man, that's a 4-game win.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Bentley, have you ever Greg, have you met Bentley Fierro?
No, pleasure.
Bentley, this is Mr. Greg Vaughn, ex-baseball legend, all kinds of other stuff. Bentley's he's an actor buddy of mine. You're still down in Orange County, right, Bentley?
Yeah, I'll hear. Yeah, but I'm always in LA. I'm in Hollywood every day, so yeah. Got to get my second place in Hollywood, man.
What's up, Gregory? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey, now that I got the link, I'm good, dude.
Attaboy, baby. Attaboy. Hey, man, where you sitting at? I see the casino and all that.
I'm in my backyard right now.
Well, hell yeah, damn, man. Are you drinking on some mojo or what?
No, not yet. I just got home. I was the last 2 weeks I was in Kansas City and then Milwaukee for Negro League stuff and the museum and all that. And a salute to them and supporting the Negro League, players. And then, yesterday was the 50th anniversary for Robin Yount, who they put my locker next to. And, today, he's one of the most influential people that helped me, teach me how to be a pro. You know what I mean? And, he was 50 years ago today. He was 18 making his major league debut. So, I just got back home and trying to enjoy a couple more days before I'm off again.
Wait, was Robin Yount, was he still actually playing? Did you actually play with him, or was he retired when you were a rookie?
No. Shit. Robin, he played a long time, man. I just seen him yesterday. I don't know if you see my Instagram. I was with him yesterday, and then I had eight years with Robin.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, no, I had 6 years with Robin, and then he retired. But he had 20 years with the same team. But I mean, hey man, 18 years old, being in the big leagues. Yeah. But you know what though? It never changed who he was, and that's a testament to, like I said, we have always talked about. There's that 1% that give guys a bad name. Mm-hmm. Dude, I mean, he won MVP at 2 different positions. He was a pillar. I mean, he played for 20 plus years. And he's even a better person, a better father, great family man. I mean, he checks all the boxes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. For me, I was blessed to have him, and we talked about this. I don't know. Hold on. Sorry. We talked about Dave Parker. I had Dave Parker. I had Willie Randolph. I had Glenn Braggs, Mike Felder, Paul Molitor, Jim Gantner. I've been blessed to have a lot of good dudes.
Wow, that's crazy. So those early teams, it was you, Sheffield, Paul Molitor, and Robin Yount in the
Jim
same
Gantner,
lineup, right? Oh my God!
Glenn Braggs, Rob Deere,
holy God!
BJ Surhoff,
holy crap!
First pick in the draft. You know what I mean?
All right, I got. You're talking about G-Man. You're talking about all these beautiful names as yourself too. I want to hear the funniest jokes that you ever pranked on each other.
I don't know. It's
some dirty ones.
Hey, it's a brotherhood, man. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't throw dirt out.
Tony,
You know what?
that's true.
I
Does
tell you this, T.
anybody?
T.
Sorry,
We
does
didn't go to
anybody
any P
have?
Diddy parties. You know what I mean? We didn't go to we didn't go upstairs at P Diddy's house. You know what I mean?
Tony, we've told you Tony has a My Little Pony tattoo, right?
He has a who?
A My Little Pony tattoo.
It's unfortunate. Alcohol and marijuana that is now legal in Denver, Colorado, was
Tony had to
involved.
get. So Tony lost a bet and had to get a My Little Pony tattoo. Tell
I
the
thought I
story.
was doing the right thing with saying yes, yes, yes. Every time I was hit yes, I was deleting them to go back in.
It was a
Yeah, that was me.
fantasy football thing, right?
Yeah, it was a
Hey,
Kodak
but you know what
moment.
though? You know what though? I like the fact that you upheld your end of the bargain. You know what I mean?
I
You
was
know,
the only one.
but see, that's what I'm saying. You're only a man of your word, right? I mean, your word is bond. So if you don't, you got to stand. You got to stand on
It's on
that.
my right side, man. It's My Little Pony, man. Taste the rainbow, be the rainbow.
So funny.
Hey, I heard you talking about your Broncos, though, dude.
Yeah.
I see.
Hey,
I
man,
see. I
let's
see.
talk about them. They're beautiful right now. And you know what? I get it. I know it's preseason, but you know what? All these puppies are stepping up because everybody's fighting for that battle. Look at our nose guard. Oh my gosh. They're You got one from Oregon and you got the other guy. The guy from Oregon, I got to say the other night just didn't look righteous. Had a couple penalties that shouldn't have happened where we had a nice first down. But you know what? We'll see what happens. But we look good and we finally have a defensive front line. Oh my gosh. Geez, they did delicious. I couldn't believe it. It's not like that for the Denver Broncos. It's not the Carl Mecklingbergs. It's not the Lala Zadus. It's not the Neil Smiths. We got the Allens. We got the Basidos. Oh my gosh, we
We'll
don't
see.
know the name.
We shall see. I'll be excited about the defense in regular season. Greg, we were talking about before you hopped on. Do you have any thoughts or feelings on rookie quarterbacks being thrown to the wolves from week one? Just what are
No,
your general thoughts of that?
I think if a guy's ready to play, he's ready to play. You know what I mean?
Got it.
And two, if you spend a top 10 pick on a quarterback and
Mhm.
you didn't win, apparently because you're picking high in the draft, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully you can protect him and he goes into the right system because the system is everything. The quarterback and the potential is one thing, but if you're top 10, you can play. But the
Right.
system you go to, does it correlate with your skill set, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I think, shit, 49ers, we had Trey Lance and, we traded away 3 number 1 picks. The system, he just couldn't get it, then we had
Yeah.
somebody, we had Purdy come in and he grasped it. So I think, when you're talking about Daniels, I love Daniels. You know what I mean? I love all
Mhm.
these. I'm not a big. He's out right now. Or I guess he's out for the year. I just don't know about McCartney. You know what I mean? I didn't know about him. He was the only one I was a little bit skeptical of.
Question. Yeah, he's the one that rose up in the draft. But we were kind of going over,
Great game.
Dan Marino had a great career, great rookie season starting from week one. Peyton Manning, he had a rough rookie season, but he started from week one. And then I guess
Look at
the
John
only
Elway.
can you guys think of any other examples besides
John
CJ?
Elway.
He didn't
Troy
start from
Aikman.
week one.
Troy Aikman.
Did he start from week one?
Yeah.
He did. Okay, that's just what I was
Uh-huh.
thinking of was just examples of quarterbacks that had like a great rookie season starting from week one, went on to have a great career. And
Cam
all I can
Newton.
think of is Dan Marino,
Cam Newton.
Peyton Manning, CJ Stroud. He didn't start from week one, but he started
Yes, he
real
did.
early.
Yes,
Did
he
he start
did.
from week one last year?
Yes. Yes.
But other than that, I mean,
Cam Newton.
there's been, you know, 50, 60, whatever, however many years of quarterbacks that come into the league. There's been many that start from week one, high draft picks that like I was talking to Bentley about, where do you sometimes risk the mental psyche of them just getting destroyed in those first like few months?
But you take the guy that was you take the guy that was at New England last year. You know what I mean? And he's playing for, Belichick don't play that. It's like being a pitcher and playing for Lou Piniella. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Hey man, that's gonna be some tough love. You know what I mean?
Sink or swim.
Yeah, and he did pretty good the first year, but then, but they didn't surround him with anything either. They didn't help him get better. The
So,
skill players weren't there for him.
and
You know what I
that's
mean? You have to have people that you have to have people that
show up for you. They show
well,
out. You gotta
but
just
too, they have to put you in a position to win too. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's what I mean. So that's all that I can, because you can think of many. Then you got Aaron Rodgers sat for a few years. Jordan Love sat for a few years. There's been
Steve Young
quarterback.
sat a couple years and then he won a Super Bowl.
What team was he on,
Yeah.
Tony? What team was he on? Bang bang. What team was
You
he
know,
on?
That was a good
go
dude.
San Francisco.
Thank you,
God,
buddy.
how you go from Joe Montana to Steve, just transfer right into Steve Young.
Right.
Just
Well, so
It's
don't
the same
Brett
way
Favre?
with George Brett going with Rodgers.
Yeah, Brett Favre, not George
Brett
Brett.
Favre, George
Brett,
Brett.
I'm thinking
You're
Kansas
talking
City.
wrong sport. Wrong
Kansas
sport.
City on my wall, but no, George Brett. Oh my gosh, Brett Favre or freaking Rodgers. Oh my gosh.
Bentley.
Eli Manning.
Did he start from week 1?
Oh yeah, he got smashed. He was like the worst quarterback. They used to tell him like, "Were you adopted?" And then the
Like,
next
are you
season,
even
all of
a
a
man?
sudden, they're losing the division. They were 0-5, and they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, twice.
And he left the team that's right behind you there, Bentley.
Yeah.
But you know what though? And shit, his brother had better numbers, but he had more Super Bowls. So he was going into the Hall of Fame before his brother.
Isn't that
He had 2
crazy?
Super Bowls.
And to
Eli
think
Manning.
both of his Super Bowl wins are against Tom Brady. He kept Tom Brady from the perfect season.
Imagine Eli Manning. All of his Super Bowl wins were on the road playoffs. He didn't even win the division in the first one, I believe. But
No, they were
on the road
yeah.
playoffs. And if you remember those playoffs, there were some great playoff games. They were on the road. He went to Green Bay. Remember, they went to that over. What a game was that! Then the next time when they won the second, they were at 49ers and went to overtime, and they were killing the poor kid, man. Remember, he got up and the helmet was the other way around. Man, I don't know how that guy did it.
Yeah, he's Manning.
But yeah, so I mean, the quarterback. Hey, Spence, I'm going to say something though.
Sure.
To all your viewers, whatever. Have you ever been to the Negro League Museum?
No, I would love to go.
Awesome.
I was there.
Where is it? Real quick, Greg.
Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best experiences ever.
You know what I was thinking about? Not that, being able to, I guarantee there are just some amazing stories.
I got a chance to hear a lot of them. I'm doing a docuseries on the Negro League Museum and the players, and we know about the ones who the media want to hype up, but there were so many more that were that were great, and what they had to go through. They couldn't eat in restaurants. They had to stay the hotels they had to stay in. They were out drawing the major leagues at one point, and that's why they started renting their stadiums. And then they find out that they were owned by white owners. You know what I mean? So it's just to get the history. Bob Kendrick does a tremendous job at the Negro League Museum. And but I got a chance to spend the last week and a half with surviving and living members that played in the Negro League, and I was just in awe, man, because I had to tell them thank you every day for what they did, or there'd be no Greg Vaughn sitting here talking to you. You know what I mean?
Where I was thinking, why I was thinking about this is, as we're moving forward with the Bob Whelan Mr. Inspiration story. If we turn this sucker into a series, I guarantee you are there's got to be a Mr. Inspiration in there somewhere.
Oh, it was.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry, a stories that because I'm sure there's many amazing stories, but I guarantee there is a Mr. Inspiration episode or two or three. Who
But but but
knows
you but you
down
know
there?
that but you know they were talking about Jackie. They said because I was with Mr. Biddle. I mean I was with all of them this past week and a half, and they said this is coming from them, not from me. They're like I was just like a sponge trying to soak it all up. But they were like,
Mhm.
I asked Jackie one day, man, did you ever want to quit? He goes, every day.
Damn.
Every day he wanted to quit. But he said, I was not going to let them win, and I gave my word, and so I had to finish. But every day I wanted to quit.
Man, that's yeah. I
And you know what? And we cry about, us spoiled brats cry about everything, right? You know, you
mhm.
know, someone always has it worse. But can you imagine going
Yeah,
through what they were going through, what they had to go through? And
Hey,
yeah,
man.
you,
Right.
it's I couldn't imagine because I know what it's like playing outfield and going to different stadiums, and you go to the South and you go over here. The stuff that they call you and the names, and because they buy a ticket, they think that they can say anything they want. You know what I mean?
hmm
It's it just shows the strength. Like they said, he wasn't the first one that they tried to get to go, but he was the one because the other guys would have snapped. You know what I mean? They they
right.
they knew he can hold it together. So it was a week that I'll probably never forget in my life. To go from
Awesome.
city to city and to experience it and hear their words, not the media's words, their words. How I mean, summer '94. You know, Major League Baseball, testament to them, I guess. For if you played 3 years or more, they're going to give you pension finally. That came out this year. But the sad thing, and we talked about this before, like with Dave Parker going through Parkinson's and stuff.
Hmm.
Baseball is the one sport we wait for people to die before they get their flowers. You know what I mean? We wait for them to be in the ground before they get their flowers. And
Yeah.
Dave Parker, I mean, and Gary Sheffield, how are they not in the Hall of Fame? You know what I mean? It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And we had to wait for Major League Baseball says there's 50 living Negro League players. Mr. Biddle says he's been in contact with like about 20. And when we say living, that means 98, 99,
Wow.
93.
Hmm.
It's just sad that they don't get their flowers or,
Wonder. I
but
wonder.
but spending time with them, the thing that I will take with me is whatever bitterness they had, they didn't come out and show it. They're appreciative of being able to tell their side of the story, their side, not someone else's side.
Yeah.
Being able to say, this is what really happened and this is what was going on. You know what I mean? They and they were happy to be part of that history. You know what I mean? But whatever it was. So for me, I will always look back and say, all the things that we want to complain and I hit 50 home runs and got traded. I'm the only player to ever hit 50 home runs in a season and get traded. I didn't go through half the crap that they went through. What do I have to bitch about?
Hmm. Maybe. Well, maybe we can. Like I said, maybe with who knows? Maybe we can raise more awareness of it. Maybe there's. I'm sure that there's foundations, charities, stuff like that. But maybe with Mr. Inspiration, who knows? Maybe we can bring this to light to
No,
change that.
and that's the good thing about having your own production company because you're your own boss and no one's telling you what you can and cannot do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's one thing. One thing about production and Hollywood, really, for the most part, is there. Unlike sports, there's no rules.
yeah, but think about, but see, I'm not, I make it. I let them tell their story, and
Hmm.
then it doesn't have to be Hollywood that that takes it. It can be someone else
Oh,
that takes
get
it
it.
and gets it
Yeah.
out there. And
Yeah.
you guys can attest to this. And me and Spence have had long talks, and I've sent lots of text messages or whatever. Your guys' story, everyone thinks you just moved to Hollywood and you're an actor or actress. You know what I mean? I I think it correlates with sort of the minor leagues for you guys going through what you go through to try to accomplish getting to the big leagues, right?
Yeah.
So I think in all walks of life, it's somewhat the same thing. We all have to go through our journey, right, or whatever that is. But I think other people need to hear it. I think people need to hear your guys' story, Spence. One
Yeah.
time we should just do a story on you.
Just do our backstories. Yeah, we could.
Yes, I think because there's other listeners out there. There's a lot of sports, Tony. Not to take away from us, but There's more people that can feel, Spence, what you guys have gone through. You know what I mean? And that didn't play sports. Just the grind of
Yep.
life. Life
Yep.
is a grind. And
Yep.
it's
Yep.
and I think if we can touch those people, because like I said, there's sports shows all over the place. Even though I love sports and tacos,
Mm-hmm.
what you guys go through, Spence, and what you do every single day to get ready and audition and 2 and 3 jobs to make sure the lights come on when you
Uh,
hit the light switch. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
People don't understand that. They think they see you on TV or they see you doing something. Oh, you made it. No, that's not making it. You know what I mean? It's
Dude,
or how long
they
you
do
are.
not see Bentley. You can attest to this. I mean, the grind, man. Just
Bentley, that's my
and
favorite word.
for me, and this is life in general, whether it's sports or anything. I had a really, really good acting teacher in the beginning. And he told me and he came out of Beverly Hills Playhouse, which produced, Patrick Swayze, Michelle Pfeiffer, George Clooney, like all kinds of people. And basically, and that it was, um, being an actor takes superhuman strength. And like a normal person, you might not understand that.
I
And
know.
the superhuman strength part is you basically have to live two lives. You have to live your regular life, which keeps the rent paid and the lights turned on. Then you have to live your entire other life when everybody's just chilling, watching the game, meeting their boys, this, that. Like you are in class, you are rehearsing scenes, you are auditioning. Like you have to be willing to make that kind of commitment. Then
But
you have to
Spence,
love it.
but Spence and Bentley, and that's what I've been saying to Spence. People need to hear that part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it is life. It's like the minor leagues for us.
yeah.
They think because you get drafted, that doesn't mean, hey man, you making $800 a month in the minor leagues. I never
Yeah.
signed my name. I never signed my name to be in the minor leagues. I was gonna work my ass off while
Yeah.
your buddies are partying or doing whatever. You had to work out. You had to get up early,
Oh my
and
God.
people don't understand. And for sports, and Tony, you can attest to this. For sports, our our earning window is so very minute, so very small that we have to get what we can get, why we can get it. Because if you get hurt or you don't produce, hey, next.
Yeah.
Same way with acting, right? And when you get your break, you have to be ready and you have to take advantage
Mhm.
of it. But Spence, you said the guy that your acting coach that told you that.
Mhm.
My question would have been, what did they do different that the other people don't do? You know what I mean? Because when I was coming up and trying to get to the big leagues,
Mhm.
what did the big leaguers do that stay there and have a long, drawn out career, right?
Mhm.
Opposed to the guys that get a taste of coffee. What makes them different? And that was the path I was on in sports. So my question would have been to that coach, what do you see different in them than you see everybody that comes to class every week with you? You know what I mean? What do they do
Mhm.
different? How do they think? What is their thought process?
I,
You know,
I think the only answer really would be the ones that make it love it. They don't like it because there are people that do it. And probably then this again also
sports,
relates
same
to
thing.
sports. It relates to sports where, and I've seen this in with tons of actors, kids whose parents drove them to acting when they were like 5. You know what I'm saying? like they didn't have a choice to fall in love with acting or necessarily sports because their parents, they had no choice. This is what you were going to do. You're
But you
going
see the
to be a
difference though.
superstar. So if
They
like
treat it
for
like
me,
elementary.
I didn't get into acting till way later in life. Had no art background whatsoever. And then maybe you could talk about this too, Bentley. But I absolutely fell in love with it. I was horrible, but I had so much fun. And I had never had any exposure to the arts. I was just a grunt construction worker, you know? And I
But
fell
like
in
you
love
said,
with
but
it.
like
Number one, that the number one, I fell in love with it. Number two, I brought an absolute blue collar work ethic to it once I fell in love with it. And that, you know, is I want to say what probably the ones that make it have. They absolutely love it, and that just that blue collar work ethic.
the
Like,
passion, right? The
yeah,
passion.
okay. Like I have a buddy, and I'm not going to say his name. Great actor. Um, and uh, I got him on with my agent, and instantly the dude started getting huge auditions, right? And he didn't know, and he's a younger dude. He just, and maybe he just didn't know, but like when you have an audition and you confirm that audition, and that came from your agent, you do not one reschedule. You do not reschedule a big audition with
Would you
the
reschedule
casting.
anything though? I mean that's
And
Everything.
once you confirm, it doesn't matter if you have to stay up till 3 in the morning to do that audition, that video audition or whatever. You 1000% get that audition in no matter what. Like,
but
and
like you
that's,
said,
go
but
ahead.
since you said that's the difference between love and the lifestyle or like love. You could stay up for 24 hours. I'm not going to F this up. I'm going to do it
Mhm.
because I love it. And this
Yep.
is where I want to be. You can see the big picture. Like, you know what? I like it, but I'm not willing to, you know, go through all the hoops and, you know, you know,
Yeah.
the BS, so to speak. They think, why
Mhm.
should I stay up all night? You know what? Then you, but that's the same thing in baseball. There's a lot of guys I play with. I wasn't the most talented,
Mhm.
but you know what? Practice, go early, stay late. No, I show up when I show up, and
Mhm.
I come to the game, but they don't do anything extra. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, in our sport, they don't make it, and then you can't get back because once you get labeled, you can earn a reputation in 20 seconds. It takes a lifetime to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but Bentley,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts, Bentley?
Yeah, you know what? With anything, it's like work. It's a privilege if you're an actor and you get an audition, and when your agent tells you to do something, you better show up and do it. I'll give you a quick example. Today, my agent called me. I said I booked a commercial, and I got the email that says be available these 2 days. I replied back on the email, I'm not available. I didn't read the whole email like proper. My agent called me and said, you're not available for this. This is for the commercial shoot. And like, wait a minute. And I looked at the email again, like, I'm so sorry. I thought this was some like background, something like optional. So no, this is for the thing, the commercial. Like, you got it. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'll be available then. And they just like, God, I'm so glad I called you because I got the email thinking I'm not available. What? Things like that kind of happen. It's funny. So that's what happened to me earlier today. So anyways, I got a commercial filming end
But
of the
can I ask
month.
you a question? I mean, an actor. Unlike baseball, I'm just saying, the times you have to be there, you have to do this, right? It's either if you don't go, that's probably it for you. You know what I mean? If you don't
Yeah.
show up but acting, what would make you guys not be available for something?
Oh,
Oh,
there could be many reasons. Work, or even sometimes you're like, I don't want to do this. This is paying nothing.
as far as like my agents are concerned, the only way you're not available is if you're booked on something already.
Yeah, that too.
Other than that, basically and that also comes from Beverly Hills Playhouse, because both of my teacher in Denver came out of Beverly Hills Playhouse. My teacher in LA was my teacher in Denver's teacher at the Beverly Hills Playhouse. And in those classes, the only excuse you had for missing class was if you were on set somewhere. Basically, you play like you practice. And especially in LA, that's the way that I was taught. You have no excuse for missing class, unless you're on set. Doesn't
Hey,
matter.
brother. Hey. I know I'm not a baseball star. I know I'm not a movie actor, but
You
hey,
could be. Tony,
it's the
Tony,
same way. It's
To-
the same way at the industry that I'm in. There's 1,000 waiters. There's 1,000 waitresses. There's 1,000 bartenders that are fighting for a job. It's the one, you go to the job. You go there on time. You go there early. You do what you have to do. Your
Tony, do you
agent
love
is
what you do? Tony, do you love what you do?
God
And you,
bless. I've been doing
and,
it for 22 at one.
and it shows though. So like you said, my grandmother told me this. You know, I don't care what you do, but be the best at it. You know what I mean? Pick whatever you love, not what she loves or your mom loves or your dad loves. Pick what you love and be the best at that. You know what I mean? That's the goal.
Exactly. 100%. Your agent, like you guys are talking about, your agent is the one that's hiring you because that person is saying, I think this person can do it. And fortunately for me, I got hired by the owner of the Platte River Bar and Grill in Littleton, Colorado, where he goes, "What happens if I hire you?" I go, "I rule your world." And I started February 19th, 2002.
was
And I've
that
been there.
Poncho? Hey, was that Ponch?
That was Pancho that hired me.
Just so you guys know,
Can I
Poncho.
can I, can I ask you guys two questions though? I have two
Sure.
questions for you guys. Because you guys do all the question asking. I'm just
Do it.
curious.
Do it.
So I just want to be on this end for once. Uh, for Tony, I'll come back to Tony because I know Tony. Tony, he's gonna, he's gonna close the show with his. But Spencer, you and Bentley, what does average commercial pay an actor? I'm just curious.
It depends. Like if it's from your agent, my agent never submits me for anything that doesn't have at least 4 digits. Put it that way. But like
But to our viewers, so they might not know what I mean, 4 digits could
okay,
be. I mean,
so typically at least $3 grand a national commercial can pay up to like $200,000-300,000 for a
so say you
30
do like,
second commercial.
so say you do Louis Vuitton or do something like that, or
Yeah, any national commercials pay huge. Now regional commercials pay less. But
so give me something like say, I'm trying to Tony, a department store, say Nordstrom's or something like that. What is
if it's a
Nordstrom's,
Okay,
Sephora?
so say it's a Nordstrom's regional commercial in like Denver. That probably would, I want to say it would pay between 5 and 25 grand. If it's a national Nordstrom commercial, it probably pays 150 to 200 grand.
But say they keep using this commercial, say for
You get residuals.
5-10 years. What happens
You
then?
get residuals every year. So
Okay, that's what I was asking.
basically you get paid for the shoot day and you get paid for the usage. If they continue to use the commercial every year, you get paid again for that commercial, that for every year that they use that commercial. Like I was a dad in a Chili's commercial, and same thing where you get a residual check as long as they use that commercial. Is the way that
Wow.
that works, and that's
Same thing for you,
why.
Bentley.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Benson. Go ahead.
Same thing for you.
Yeah, that's how it is. But I never had a big regional commercial like that one. That's a good one. Also, too, there's some stuff where your agent will tell you, well, not exactly tell you, but there's some stuff where your agent will give a suggestion where it pays decent, but it really looks good with resume and attention.
Yes.
For sure.
So that's another thing I'm always looking for. There's certain sacrifices I'm willing to give up for myself. So certain things where my agent says, if you do this, it'll raise your value. Yeah, I'll do it then, and it doesn't pay that much, but I'll do it. Yeah.
And Tony, I have another question. This is just living in Vegas. Tell me about industry night, dude. What happens on industry night?
industry nights go different ways. It all depends because industry night you can have where they usually do it like on a Wednesday or a Tuesday night because of the fact Thursday nights is lady nights, Friday nights you don't need it, the weekends you don't need it. Maybe Sunday nights you could probably also do it. Industry nights is as long as you come in. A lot of times, if you're new to the place, they're going to ask you to see your receipts to make, seeing your checkout slip, making sure that, hey, he is, you work at Applebee's or you work at Chili's or you work at any of the restaurants or something that, or you're wearing your outfit going in there, so that it recognizes saying where you work. And then usually with that, you get a 2-for-1
Is that the
deal
same
or
night
you
everyone's
get
off though? Is that the same night everyone's usually?
usually for servers and all that, yeah, they'll go there and all that, and they'll say, yeah, I'm in the industry. I work here. I work here. They'll show their slip. It's one of those that
It's
you
usually
get,
like Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. I know it used to be Mondays a lot in Denver.
but like I
I
used
think
to
it's
know it
Mondays in
was
California
Wednesdays.
and Vegas.
Thursday nights was ladies' night. They didn't want to go away from that.
Yeah.
Even though they still had the same thing there, if you were a regular at that place, at that establishment, and you keep on going in there, I'm sure they'll give you the server price, But at the same time, most places they want to see. Most times you're wearing your outfit going in there, saying you're going to go have a couple of beers and this and that. And then if you come to it, you keep on going. You'll still get the service industry nights, but you have to go on those times. And
The
it's
good
probably
thing, sorry, about service industry nights. Back in the day, Sunday nights, uh, where you
Yeah.
used to be industry night. And the coolest part about industry night was all the hot waitresses and bartenders in the area used to go to this one particular bar every Sunday night and do karaoke. And you were just like, holy, like there's that one girl that I'm totally in love with or whatever. There was this one particular bar in North Denver that was just the spot on Sunday nights for karaoke and industry night because all the chickies around town that you loved would go to this particular bar. We were at this particular bar every Sunday night for like all of my 20s, basically, just so you know. That's one of the bonuses of
In
industry night.
California and Vegas, I I notice every time I ever go eat dinner and say it gets to like that 10 o'clock hour, the
Hmm.
whole dynamic changes. You know what I mean? Everybody that's used to waiting on somebody else, it's their night to let their hair down. You know what I mean? I just had to
Yes.
ask. I never really asked anyone that question before.
They
see
party. Service
like with
industry
me,
people party.
when I used to live in Vegas, I used to work off of down Rainbow by Martin Luther King Boulevard, and I lived up in Henderson. So those, and we also used to go to Calico Jack's after work, man, and that started at 9 o'clock because they knew when shifts were changing and everything, and it would go all the way till 6 o'clock in the morning, and then or no 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, and then you have an hour off so they can clean up the place so they can start up at 6 again. But I remember all those nights, Calico Jacks, freaking oh man, Arizona Charlies, all that fun stuff. I remembered all that stuff back then. But now, it's one of those they're doing 2-for-1s or they're and it's always beginning
I
of the week. But I would always like to be the server
I
serving.
never see
That's awesome. Uh,
I never seen Spence light up like that though. He's reminiscing about industry
I
night.
am.
Those are my
Oh
questions.
my.
I just needed two questions since we've been doing this podcast. I always want to ask about the actors and actresses. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The grind,
Right.
because I think it's important. Because so many kids out there or young people think that they, you know, just show up and they're going to be Kevin Hart, Will Smith,
Yeah.
Denzel. It's
From the
you know
get-go.
it's
Yeah.
but
After
yeah,
living in
they come out here.
LA, after living in LA for like 5 years, here's the one thing. The one thing. Well, there's a lot of one things I would say, but after being in LA I'm glad I had good teachers in Denver because I've seen so many actors come to LA to learn to act. And a lot of it is based on their looks. And I hate to say this, but a lot of girls, some guys, that wherever it is they came from, they were the biggest deal. And it is fully legit. When you get to LA, you are going to be a little fish in a big pond. So again,
How much?
go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Spence. Sorry,
No,
I
you're
didn't mean to
fine.
cut. Like how much is acting, and then how much is looks? I mean, just so to
There's,
correlate.
don't get me wrong. Your looks are going to get you the audition because you get auditions a lot of times. The way it works is this. Okay, and then we'll get deep about this. But what I wanted to say here was, if you're not booking in a small market, do not move to a big market. That would be the number one thing because I've seen so many guys and girls in LA basically come to LA. Hey, everybody, look at me. I'm pretty. I'm going to be a superstar. And reality will kick you in the butt. Many of them are gone in 6 months or a year because they'll realize, oh, wow, everybody here is just as hot as I am, if not hotter. So, what my teacher said basically was, if you're not booking in a small market, do not move to LA until you are. You need to be booking in a small market first. And it teaches you also, which is like my buddy I was mentioning about, who had never had an agent, it teaches you like the seriousness of having an agent. Like, and committing, confirming, like you need to be 1,000% when your agent gets you that audition. Like, you don't play around with that. That's a big thing. So that's the one thing I guess that I was told. And I had good teachers, and I had a pretty good resume in a little market like Denver, Colorado, where I acted for like 5 years before I even thought about going to a place like Los Angeles. So, and it made it easier because I had had an agent for 3 or 4 years in Denver. I knew what was expected of me, just lots of stuff like that. That's the number one I would say thing about like Los Angeles, or it probably happens in New York also, where people end up going home. It's because they really had no experience before they went to LA. Now, occasionally somebody might, just show up. I'm going to come to LA to be a star, but it's good to know what you're doing before you get there. That's all.
Hey, I got something for both you movie actors up there. Hey, I was just curious. What was the worst scene that you had to do, but you still did it because you did it for the money? For instance, look at Joey Tribbiani. He did freaking, from Friends. He did a porno where he was the guy that was on the X-ray machine, and then at the same time, you had him also do the freaking.
The worst scene.
I have STDs. There's some bad ones out there, but what was your guys' worst
Tony, you're
ones?
sick. You're sick, Tony.
Let me let me think about this. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. It was my okay. It was my the very first ever movie I was in. It's a little movie called Diamond in the Rough. Oh my god, I was played a homeless dude who like propositioned the star for like, okay, so like I come around the corner and I walk up to the star, she's walking down the street, and like I try and buy her as like a hooker, as a homeless dude. For
What'd you
like
try to
20
buy her
bucks.
with?
I basically
No, I said, what'd you try to buy her with?
I'm trying to get her to come into the alley with me for like 20 bucks.
That's
That's
better than being with the guy. I love
Yep.
it. I love
It's true.
A
But I was
man
just
in the
like,
shower.
this is my
it.
this is my entrance into the movie business. Like, thanks, guys. Like, hey, you play a great homeless guy. Like, oh, f off. But it was the first of many. Again, like, I it led to other things and other things, and Now we're making movies and documentaries and TV shows and freaking just all kinds of stuff. So that's all
Bentley,
I.
your turn. Bentley, let's go.
Yeah, Bentley.
I auditioned. I told him I'm a really good dancer. So we did a couple takes. I'm a terrible dancer. Anyways,
That's it. What actual like thing did you book that you like accepted and you're like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, that was scary.
no, it's like what? What
So
is
it
it?
was for a big commercial actually for in South America. So it's airing all through South America, a famous UFC fighter. So I booked the commercial. I was in the front row and I'm part of the commercial. And then they're all, okay, well, let's hear the dance moves. And it was me and two other girls. I was like, all right. It was like, oh man. And the director finally said, okay, maybe just stand behind the girls dance. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, I did a commercial. This is a kind of a funny one. I did a commercial. I don't know, a couple years ago in LA, and we were. It was improv. I'm trying to think what it was from Fast. It was like a Fast and the Furious take, like on a commercial. It was like if you did a little scene from Fast and the Furious, but it was the commercial. And it was an improv, and I think it made it into the commercial where I'm standing with this total blonde babe, right? And like the bad guy comes out of nowhere to get us or something, and he was like, I basically have to act super scared, and I grab the hot blonde girl and like used her as a shield to from the bad guy, and it was just improv, like they were just doing, okay, we'll do this now, do this now, do this now, and it ended up being hilarious, and ended up being in the commercial where basically I look like a total bitch because I grabbed the hot chick to protect me from the bad guy. And
Yeah,
I like throw her at the bad guy. It's so funny.
that is a bitch move a little bit, Spence. That is a bitch move.
They
Okay, I
told
have
me
another.
to do it. It was comedic. I was like,
So how
oh,
often is this,
whatever.
man? So how often does this happen? Because you see it now, like that statutes of limitation, and by no means am I condemning what people do, but how often do you see people use their sexuality to try to climb the ladder?
A lot. A lot. But I was
Bentley,
watching. Go ahead, Bentley. Yeah, a lot.
yeah, Bentley, this is uncensored. Let's go.
Yeah, you see that a lot. Especially, I've seen quite a few like really young girls, like maybe 20, maybe 21, if anything, and they are using their best looks and so on. The problem is they're using it with the wrong person. They don't know if it's like they're not going to the director, they're going like to the assistant or someone. They don't know any better, and that's the sad part. You see some people get taken advantage of. Oh
yes,
boy.
Yes.
And
Or they're taken advantage of by the janitor.
yeah. I can't
What
say
about
anything.
on the men's side?
If I say something, I'm the bad guy. Like, oh, you're trying to. So it's just like, all right, fine. Hey,
Well,
you're throwing salt on there. Yeah,
you guys remember? I saw a really cool interview. You remember Judge Joe Brown?
oh yeah,
I'm sure everybody remembers.
Yeah.
Judge Joe Brown. He
he's
was
still
on
around.
before or after Judge Judy
Yeah,
back in the day.
yeah.
So anyways, he had a really cool interview the other day about that because he was in Hollywood for a long time, and what he was saying was a lot of these casting couch girls, it would get them like a pop in their career, but at the end of the day, talent is talent, and a lot of them would be flashes in the pan. Yeah, maybe they went to the casting couch, they got this and this, but the ones that didn't do that were the ones that went on to have long, successful careers because they were actually talented. And then they were being booked because they were actually talented. Now, don't get me wrong. I know for a fact that there's some superstars right now, current superstars in Hollywood that, they effed their way to the top and it worked for them. But for most, you just get treated, I hate to say it, but like a tramp.
Yeah,
And
no,
then you
yeah,
then you're done.
Yeah, I wasn't condoning it. I was just saying, for me, because you hear about it, and then, as us common folk, Tony, we read about it 33 years later that they're suing somebody for something they did.
Well,
And, but because I seen an interview this week. You know what they said? They asked the WNBA. They said, do you guys flying guys like the NBA? They were like, they said, yeah.
wow.
They said, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
I'm just saying, and I wasn't just asking on the female side. Do you
Yeah.
guys see it on the male side also? You know what I mean? In your business.
Like the Deuce Bigelow of male actors are we. I don't know. I don't know how to. All I can think is like Deuce, like
Don't think of anybody. I'm just saying, hey, Tony, we just want to answer, right? Does it happen? Or does it not
I
happen?
I'm curious
Oh,
myself, man.
I guarantee you there are some total man whores in Hollywood that will do whatever they have to do to get a role.
Yeah, I'm just saying, have you guys heard of any male, excuse my language, effing their way to the top like females do? You know what I mean? It was just because, I mean, it happens in corporate America. It happens every day, right? It happens in
Yeah.
in the serving industry. You know what I mean? I'm the owner of the restaurant, and she's a female, and she likes the guy. She's going to do the same thing. I was just
Yeah.
saying, have you seen it with the males in your industry?
Bentley, give me one more answer, and then Bentley's got to take off and do an audition, guys.
So do I.
Get it, boy.
I got to eat. I just landed.
Yeah, I get it. Bentley, do you know any dudes that are, effing their way into roles?
I'll tell you this. I was friends with this guy. This is years ago. The guy by now, what are 40s, probably 60 years old by now. But back then, back in the days, this guy did some small roles in soap operas. And then during the day, he was a Chip and Dale's dancer. And so this guy's, dude, he was meeting all the executive females back then. This is 1980s, probably early 90s, that kind of stuff. So when I met that guy back then, he was telling me all these wild stories. So I believe it existed much more back then compared to today.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know any dudes. Yeah, that are that. But
I would say
it's
corporate
happening.
America is winning. Corporate America, if you have a female boss, you're winning. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I believe the world
going to get their money.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think people are people, and people do what people do. It's unfortunate, but it was just my today. I got to be in Spence's chair, even though I came on late. I wanted to ask other questions.
It's great. I love having other people.
Yeah, because I'm curious. Like Tony said, we want to hear like what you guys do, what it's like for you guys. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's wrap it up really fast, guy. Bentley, you can stay on for this if you want. If not, we'll see you next time, Bentley. Hey, Bentley, football season's starting, so I'll be having you back on the show. Like,
can't wait.
As much as you want to come on.
Can't wait.
Go Broncos!
So real
nice to
quick,
meet you, Bentley. Pleasure. Thank you.
Tony and Greg.
Pleasure.
Cowboys.
See you guys.
Cowboys over under 10.5 wins.
Over.
Under.
I hate to say it.
You think over? Do you think
they play 18 games, right?
I think that whole NFC East is going to be under.
Got it.
Even the beloved Eagles are going to be under because they're going to be cutthroating. But I do see last place being the Giants.
Greg,
I think Washington's going to step up.
Greg, you're in Vegas, and I think this is the easiest. If it were me and I was rich, okay, I would go put a whole lot of money on the following bet. Denver Broncos over or under 5.5 wins.
Oh, over for sure.
Over. I would be at the book right now putting
they're going to win 6 games. I'll give you guys 6.
Bo Nix, dude, the guy's legit.
I give you 6 wins. I give you 6 wins.
Tony, how many? My prediction is we could be 500. I think we're wild card material if Bo Nix is what he looks like he's going to be. That's it. He's got the head coach. I know he doesn't have much of a team around him yet, but he's
much of the AFC is problems. There's a lot of problems in much of the AFC. AFC West, I think, looks good. Unfortunately, hey, I'm a biased. I think it's going to be Kansas City and Denver going in because Raiders, oh my gosh, they got Uncle Rico as their starting quarterback now. They got Minshew as their starting quarterback.
I mean,
And
5.5.
Jim in his first year with the team that he didn't hire.
Here's the reason that 5.5 is value. It's going to go up fast. Every preseason game that Bo Nix plays good, you're going to see that number go to 6. You might see it go to 6.5. So I would get in. I would jump all over Broncos 5.5 over. Next.
Well, right now he's not going to play next week. You know that for a fact.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Okay, what are your thoughts on Rams over or under 8.5 wins? I like the over on that. I like the over. The Rams were coming on last season. And if that defense gets improved, the Rams are going to be, I mean, they're only 2 years removed from winning the Super Bowl. So what are you guys' thoughts? Rams over or under 8.5?
I think it'll be over. I like the prop bets. I say over.
Over. What do you think, Tony? Over under 8.5? Under. Okay. Sure. Last one, and we'll wrap it up. Seahawks. Over or under 7.5 wins? I like the over. That's a good team. That team has all the Denver Broncos draft picks for like the last 3 years. That is a team that, other than Geno Smith, all they need is a quarterback. You know, and
you think about it. You think about it. If you don't win 7-8 games, you're right there with Carolina picking for first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Over. So I like over. I like over.
I think all three.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, I would lay over on all. See, I'm not betting with my heart because Tony doesn't want to bet in the same division as him, as your guys' Broncos.
Right.
But for me, but for me, there's too much parity now, man. I think there's every week, you know, is a coin toss. I mean, even with the good teams, you know, if you have one bad play, like Tony just said, you know, the Eagles, they're not going to win. The 49ers aren't going to win. The only team that separates themselves are the Chiefs, and they just got the fastest man in the goddamn draft, and he's running by everybody like it ain't shit. So the Chiefs.
Oh God!
I'm just saying.
No, I get it.
That's what I said. But with analytics, sometimes, man, analytics is one thing, but you got to have guys that understand what changes games. You know, what's the difference maker?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's you know.
All right.
I'm sorry for coming on late. I want to apologize, but I'm glad I got to be the host, man. I like it.
Yeah, let's do it more.
Awesome.
Well, because you know, you guys got to remember for the next, and we're gonna keep the grind going. We might rename the grind Mr. Inspiration, just as Mr. Inspiration gets going. Brady. Oh yeah, I might bring Brady Mazzola on as like a small partner of Sports and Tacos, just so you guys know.
Let me ask you this though, Spence. So
sure.
if you keep the grind going, and it's a female because you can't.
Maybe that's why I want to rename it Mr. Inspiration or Mrs. Mrs. Inspiration. Mrs. Inspiration.
I just think the grind is fire, dude.
It is. It might just be whatever.
Don't you think so? The grind is because you're grinding in your industry. Spence is grinding. I'm grinding, but Spence, you got to be careful with the. I love what you and Brady are doing, but you have female. You can't have any more females on if you say Mr. Inspirational after.
It'll be Miss Inspiration, Mr. or Mrs. Inspiration. I was gonna say something. I forget. Anyways,
I'm just saying.
The inspirational.
We're gonna be talking a lot of football.
I can't wait.
It's good to have shows like this.
By the way, hey fellas, it's a couple Mondays. It's draft pick time, so we might not be able to be on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we know it's fantasy draft. Preseason is preseason. Opening, you know.
What about college? What about college? College is this Saturday, right?
Go Blue!
Awesome. Real football. All right, guys. Greg, eat your food. Tony, tell Bama to get better. And
I
yeah, for
will.
the next couple weeks, it's preseason tacos, and then things get real in about 2 weeks. So everybody have
All
a
right.
good night. Good
All right.
show.
All I got to
Appreciate
say is go Broncos.
Go Broncos and Bo Nix, baby.
Bang, bang.
I think we
Bang,
got a
bang.
quarterback, Tony. I think we got a quarterback. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Peace.